Hello everyone. So previously, as discussed, to clear your APC exam, you need to learn about coding and coding guidelines. So there are three books which I have told you in my last video also. You need to refer. So these three books are ICD-10-CM, CPT and HICPIC. So today we will start with your ICD-10-CM. So this is how the ICD-10-CM books look. It is of 2023 edition. Okay. And so here will be all the brief description and author and everything. So we can come down to the table of contents. So this table of content includes the guideline tips, okay, the general guidelines, and then symbols and conventions and anatomic illustrations. So they have anatomy illustrations of different body parts, so you can refer them during your exam also when in confusion. And then we have the chapters over here. So each chapters and their codings is mentioned, like infectious, neoplasm, external cause of morbidity, eye, ear. So all the body parts and their codes are mentioned over here, all the diagnostic codes. So these are your general guidelines, and there are also chapter specific guidelines in front of the chapter itself. Okay, so these are all the guidelines in your book. So this is briefly I'm showing you how the book looks. Okay. So ICD-10-CM, what is it? So ICD stands for International Classification of Disease. 10 over here means it is the 10th revision, 10th time it has been revised, and CM means clinical modification. So this is what ICD-10-CM means. So this is an international coding system used by healthcare provider to classify and code medical diagnosis. Okay, so this was initially developed in 1890s by International Statistical Institute and has undergone many revisions. Okay, so this is mostly used in your medical billing, reimbursement, and in clinical research also. So your ICD-10-CM book is divided into two parts. Okay, the first part is your alphabetical index and the second part is your tabular list. So in alphabetical index, the diagnostic terms are arranged in an alphabetical order. So just like your dictionary, A to Z, how it is mentioned, the terms and everything, same wise over here also in the alphabetic list, all the conditions, disease and diagnostic terms and everything are mentioned in an alphabetical order. So suppose if you want to look for fracture of nasal bone or fracture of femur, tibia, radius, anything, you have to go for the term fracture, that is letter F first. Then you have to look for fracture, and in that fracture you have to again look for the term, whether it is nasal bone or tibia or anything. So you have to search in an alphabetical manner and you have to search by the condition. And the second part belongs to the tabular list. So this tabular list consists of structured list of codes divided into chapter based on system or condition. So you need to search by chapter. Suppose if you want to look for eye, then you have to go for the eye chapter, or if you're looking for something in asthma or bronchitis, then you have to go for the respiratory chapter. And then we have nervous system, so it is divided chapter wise, so you have to look as per the chapter. So now we will be discussing the structure and format of the code. So basically the ICD-10-CM codes are alphanumeric codes. Okay, that means it contains alphabet as well as numbers. So there can be 3 to 7 characters in a code. Okay, now let's take an example. Okay, so this is an example which I have kept over here. So you can see the first character of a code will always be an alphabet. Okay, it will always start with an alphabet. The first 3 characters of code, that means S, 3 and 2 over here, it defines the category of the code, the condition. Okay, it defines the category of the code. The fourth character is your subcategory, which defines the cause of disease or condition. So 0 over here is the fourth character. Okay, so it is called the subcategory, which defines the cause of disease or condition, symptom or stages or stage of condition. Okay, and the fifth and sixth character, which is the fifth and sixth character, 1 and 0. The fifth and sixth character defines the specificity, just like location or laterality, which means which side of the body part it is, like right side or left side. Okay, now coming to the seventh character. The seventh character is an added code extension which further gives information on whether this is an initial encounter. Initial encounter means if the patient has come for the first time, or is a subsequent encounter or a second visit, okay, or it is a sequelae of some previous disease. So accordingly you will be giving your seventh character. Now coming to placeholder and seventh character. So placeholder are generally represented by the letter X. Okay, when a code contains fewer character than 6 character and a 7 character applies, that time we use the placeholder X. The X also allows for further expansion of the code. When reporting ICD-10-CM code, coder must add a placeholder to the 7th character in correct position. Let's go on to the example so that you can understand it better. So there is fracture of nose, which bone? Nasal bone. Okay, lead us here. S02.2, fracture of nasal bone. So you can look in the alphabetical index and it will direct you to here, S02.2, which is fracture of nasal bone. Okay, so we can see a small symbol over here with 7th mentioned in blue color. So what is the meaning of this symbol? So for completing the code, so it's S02.2 is not a complete code. Okay, that symbol 7th character is needed and the blue color says the code is complete. Okay, that means the code is complete, but we have to place a 7th character. So what we will be doing, so S02, this is 3.2, this is 4th, 5th and 6th are the place where we will be putting the placeholder, that is X, and then 7th character will be A. So how are we deciding it is A? So it will be mentioned there only in the guidelines. Okay, A is equals to initial encounter for closed fracture. So it will be mentioned in your clinical document. If it's a closed fracture, initial encounter, so accordingly you need to place your 7th character. Now choosing a code. How you will be choosing a code? Reading the documentation and identifying the diagnosis as confirmed by the physician. You have to locate and then verify it. So locate the main term to search the alphabetical index. Main term can be your disease. If in the medical record, suppose rheumatoid arthritis is mentioned, okay, then we have to look for rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, if suppose only pain is mentioned and rheumatoid arthritis is not mentioned, okay, then we have to go for the signs or symptoms. Okay, so when disease is present, we have to go for the disease condition. If sign and symptoms are present which are related to the disease, then we have to look only for the disease. If only sign and symptoms are mentioned and not the disease, then we have to go for the sign and symptoms. Okay, and then we have to look for the body side. Then once main term is located, we have to verify in the tabular list for the complete code descriptor. If description requires additional character, it must be reported to comply with coding rules and to avoid rejections. Review is applicable notes and description before making a final code. So let's code a few codes together. Okay, so the first one is acute bronchitis. So I've opened my ICD-10-CM PDF. Okay, so as I told you, I have to look it in my alphabetical index. So bronchitis starts from B. So I will go to letter B. Okay. So we can see bronchitis over here. Okay. And it is mentioned as acute bronchitis. Okay. So we will code for J20.9. So we got this in our medical alphabetical index, and now we can check this in our tabular list. So for tabular list, I will go to my J20.9. So it will be mentioned in the above all the alphabets. Okay. Like see H02.1. So we have to look for J series. So I will go more down. So I have to look for J20.9. So acute bronchitis. Okay, the code is J20.9 because acute bronchitis and it is unspecified. Okay, nothing is given, so it will be considered as unspecified. Our correct code is acute bronchitis unspecified J20 point. So our next code we have to search for is amyloid cardiomyopathy. So similarly, we will go into alphabetical index A and search for amyloid. So let's go. So I can see amyloidosis over here. Okay, so it is of heart. So E85.4, amyloid cardiomyopathy. So let's look into the code E85.4. Similarly, we'll go into the E series. Okay, so if you move your page down, we can go to, so this is E series. We will look for E85.4. E85. So we can see amyloidosis over here and 85.4. So amyloid cardiomyopathy is mentioned over here. So amyloid cardiopathy, the correct code is E85.4. So now our medical term is fracture of nasal bone. So we'll search for fracture, letter F. So let's go to our alphabetical index again and look for F series. So we can see we have come into fracture and now we have to look for fracture nasal. Okay, we'll go down. So here fracture of nasal bone, so the code is S02.2. So now we have to check our code if it's a complete code or not in our tabular list. So I will go to the S series and look for S02.2. So this is, let's go down. So yes, you can see S02.2 fracture of nasal bone, and we can see the 7th character over here is mentioned and it is encircled in blue. So as I've told you, blue means the code is complete. Okay, there is no missing character, only we have to place the 7th character. So the correct code will be S02.2, then two placeholders, that is 2x and a. So the correct code is S02.2xxa. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed coding with me. So in the next session we will be covering the various terms which is used in the book. You can find it in the first section of the book, like NOE, NOS, bracket, parenthesis, includes versus exclude, etiology versus manifestation, and the sequencing of code. So we'll be covering these in our next session. I hope my video was informative and will be somehow helpful to you. So for more such content, do follow and subscribe, and if you have any doubt, please feel free to comment. Thank you.